Welcome back, everybody. He started out selling drugs, but soon gave that up to promote parties and co-founded the hip-hop label Def Jam Records. Russell Simmons went on to create clothing lines, Def Comedy Jam on HBO and Def Poetry Jam on Broadway, and so much more. He made lots of money, but says that was never his primary goal, and meditation helped him all along the way. He describes the journey in his new book. It's called Super Rich, A Guide to Having It All, written with Chris Morrow, and Russell Simmons joins us right now. Great to have you back with Matt and me.
Well, it's a pleasure to be back.
Why write this book?
Well, I wrote the first book, Do You. Kind of like after all these years of studying yoga and the scripture and the science of yoga, and I wanted to pull all the teachings together, and they gave me a big advance, and I gave that to charity, so it was a good deal.
Right.
I didn't expect that I would get a phone call from Oprah and she would say that she loved the book and she would give me an hour and it would sell so many copies. And even a bigger surprise was so many people walked up to me and told me that the book had inspired them and changed their lives for the better. And so this book was written more as an offering because I knew that the power of the previous book was so useful to so many people, and this book is more of a guide, where the other book had great examples and was a good starter kit.
Right.
I believe this book is a little more thorough, and its intention is much, I think, more inspired.
I wonder about, every time I see you out at events, you're hanging out with Jay-Z or Akon, and you also are obviously friends with Oprah and Paul Allen and people who are so successful around the country. Does what you do ever rub off on them as far as the yoga thing? I mean, do you ever get these guys and say, hey, Jay-Z, you got to come with me to this Bikram yoga class?
I don't go to Bikram so much. But the yoga, what's in the book is based in the scripture and the Bhagavad Gita and the Yoga Sutras, and it's because there are more parts than the physical practice. So I look at someone like Jay-Z, who does so much good in his own philanthropic and social endeavors, and pretty much all the hip-hop communities artists have invested thoroughly in their own communities and are big supporters of social and political causes that matter. And so they're yogis, in their own way, and so I don't think it has to rub off. I think people have it in them. Paul Allen is also a great giver, for that matter. So, I think, to answer your question, I think America is, more and more adopting these simple principles. Oprah sold so many books on, so I gave her a book, The Power of Now.
Right.
And then she sold The New Earth, and so America is shifting some.
Well, it's, in your book you write, when we picture a Microsoft or a Def Jam today, the first thing some people see is a dollar sign. But I promise you that the successes of those companies were rooted in a conscious pursuit of happiness, not in a blind pursuit of money. You really believe that? You don't think that there are people who are out there who said, I'm just about making money?
You cannot control results of your action. You can only control your action. And so the thoughts, about money or these things are distractions. The focused person who is awake and focused and makes work their prayer is the successful one. The one who's engaged thoroughly in his work is the one he's a good giver. He becomes this book is about making you a more conscious giver. And good givers are great getters. So their success stories are rooted in the big holes they fill, the voids that they filled, for people.
I was thinking about this, though, when looking through the book. It's not only, though, about being spiritually enlightened, because you happen to collect a few $100 million along the way, right? I mean, part of it is about, or at least you're not turning down the money, right?
No. I run 5 charities. I raise money for tons of other philanthropic and social, and have many political causes that matter to me, and they're mostly ones that affect the poor. I don't turn down the money. I don't think that's the point. I think I'm not attached to the money, and I think I go to work because I love it. My financial service company or my other companies, I think that they're helpful to people. I like to give people services and things that I love myself. And so that's where the inspiration comes from in terms of work. And then the philanthropic and social stuff, they're all businesses to me. The charities, as are,
Russell, we just have a few seconds left here, about 20 or 30 seconds. I mean, so what's your advice to somebody who's starting a business? I mean, you used a lot of yoga terms, intention, and so on and so forth. I mean, what's your advice to someone who's starting a business?
Find something you love, and have enough courage to pursue your dream. I think you have to look inside for that strength. And I think people sometimes are distracted or told no by what's on the outside. But on the inside is the strength to do just about anything you can imagine.
And you think that applies to somebody like a Donald Trump as well? I know he's
Donald Trump is operating under the same principles. He lets the little doorknob, the gold doorknob in his building.
He does.
That's the doorknob. What do you think, Russ? And he's happy about the doorknob.
Right.
He's building a hotel that he loves. He's building properties and doing businesses that he's engaged in, and he's thoroughly engaged. And so that's where I know him that well and know that about him and many other entrepreneurs.
And you mentioned a lot of them in your book. Listen,
Yeah.
Russell, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Russell Simmons, and the book is Super Rich, A Guide to Having It All.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back. Did you hold the book up?
Yeah, see that? They told me it's 3 times more valuable.
He says it, we do it. There's the book.
And we have the full screen as well.
We put it up.